Hey y'all, Purpose Girl here. I am so sorry that it is 9:03, but I had some technical difficulties going live, and so I was kind of way late. But I'm here now, and I hope you guys are here with me. It's so exciting to be back another night talking about this 180-degree turnaround challenge. And for me, it really, 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 truly has been a turnaround situation for me. Um, I have been in such a place of gratefulness for these last 5 days. And technically, I kind of began the challenge days ago, even before we began together. And I just felt like it was so good. I wanted to share it. But so I'm a little deeper into it probably than you are. But nevertheless, I'm experiencing crazy turnaround in my thinking, which is creating a turnaround in my emotions, which in turn is creating a turnaround in my behavior. And at this point, it is so clear that my emotions have shifted, because this is normally a time when I would be really very emotional and not really able to control some of my responses. And I've been so good, y'all. I have been so good. So this challenge really has been amazing for me. I was able to thank someone today, and very specifically as well, someone at work. I was able to thank them, and it really felt good to just give somebody affirmation, to let somebody know that I really appreciated something that they did. Now, if you will take a look and see, you'll remember that last night it was on this hand, and now it's on this hand. I complained today. Yes, I did. I complained today. I was just complaining about something that's been happening over and over, and I'm tired of it and sick of it. And then I was like, mm. And I transferred my thing over. And the crazy part is I was sharing the challenge with my coworker, that I'm doing. And after I was, telling her about this thing that I'm so upset about, I was like, oh no, I complained. She was like, no, you were just giving the facts. Like she was trying to give me an out. But I was like, nope, I was complaining. That was the spirit of complaint, because I was getting upset as I was kind of talking about it. So that's how I knew, oh no, I'm complaining again. But I did switch it over, and then I didn't complain for the rest of the day. And the flip side of that complaint, I sat and I thought about it, and I said, what would be the flip side of my complaint that I was making today? The flip side of that is that there are people within my scope of influence. There are people that I can influence for good. There are people that I can mentor and that I can help. And so while there are challenges with a process, I get to be a part of that process, and I get to make a difference depending on how I handle things, depending on how I handle the challenge. So that was my flip side to my little complaint today. And so that also kind of gave me a strategy for how to deal with this challenge that I'm facing. Now I will go in it in a way to kind of mentor and kind of help to make things better, be a part of the solution rather than the problem, or just be complaining. And so I'm really grateful for that opportunity that I had to do that, to kind of look at that flip side. But I've been all day long, I've been kind of just reminiscing. I've really been reminiscing. And I guess part of that is because I am editing my second book at this time. Like, that's huge for me. When you want to talk about go from fear in it to faith in it, y'all just don't understand. I wrote my first book, and it really poured out of me. It was out of my experience. It was really how I was feeling, what I was going through. And so it really kind of poured out of me. But the idea of writing my second book has been like, can you do that again? Is that a thing? Or was this like a flash in the pan, one hit wonder type situation? And God just began showing me that everything that you need, I have or am pouring it inside of you. And that thought took me from fear in it to faith in it. And God began to show me that he had been long since creating content, pouring what my next book would be. And I struggled with it. My book came out in 2016. We are now in 2018. I had hoped to write my next book in 2017. And it's not that I was blocked. It's the actual opposite idea. I had so many ideas of books that I could write. And part of it was, can I write that? I have some ideas about Christian fiction books for young adults, or in the young adult genre, kind of for teenagers. That's my stuff. Young people is my stuff. So I kind of, wanted to write a Christian fiction book that kind of just brought up themes. Anyway, I'm rambling. But the point here is I had a myriad of ideas. Some of them I was like, can I write that? Oh, I don't know. And so, I'd started some of them, and nothing was really, like nothing was, yeah, that's it. And so I kind of just stepped back and said, okay, God, what do you want me to write? And he was like, you already wrote. God said, you already wrote. I've already given you all the content. It's already written. And so I'm in the process of editing my book. And I said all that to say that this editing process and this stuff that I've written, and the book that I'll be dropping in 2019 is a devotional book. And coincidentally, it's entitled 180-Degree Turnaround, Going from Fear in It to Faith in It. And that's my story. That's my life. That's what I'm dealing with. It's every day. Every day I'm choosing to faith it rather than fear it. Every day I'm choosing to believe that he is in me. He's enough. And that makes me enough. So, I'm dropping that book in 2019. And as I was kind of editing today, I just thought, man, me and God have been through so much. And as I poured over some of the things we've been through, I just was filled with a spirit of gratefulness, y'all. Like filled with a spirit of gratefulness. And so I want to encourage you. And you see, I'm back in my prayer area, and the feed is, this is where I'm doing my live feed from, because I wanted to remind you again, find some way to chronicle what God has done for you. Find some way, somehow, to never forget the stuff that you and God have been through. Because when we look back over our lives and we see what he's done and what we've been through and how he's saved us, redeemed us, changed us, blessed us, kept us, provided for us, healed us. When we see the things that God has done, I don't know if it's possible for you, but it is impossible for me to look at all of this and not be grateful. God, he's been so good. He's been so good. And you'll see that this side of my wall right here is empty. And it's empty because I am about to finish my master's, y'all. And I'm going to post something about that, y'all. Because it's been a journey with Jesus. But it's been exciting. And really that space is going to hold something that reminds me that if I never practice therapy as my job, that every dime that I've spent on this degree was worth it, because God, through this degree, has changed my entire life, changed my relationships with my children, my husband, my extended family members. It's changed the way I look at my ministry and my life. Oh, it's helped me to go from negative to positive, and God is still working on me to going from fear in it to faith in it. And so that spot is going to hold something that shares all my mental health successes. Yes, God, all my mental health successes. So what are you grateful for? What has God done for you? What situation can you look back over and say, oh my God, You have been so good to me. You are better than good to me, God. Good is not a good enough word to describe how you have been to me. What in your life signals that? What is God doing for you right now in the midst of this challenge to remind you that He is with you? He will never leave you nor ever forsake you. What is God doing? And as I get ready to close out this particular live feed, I just want to close out. I promised you that I would talk about something you could do alongside your deep breaths. Great, I didn't forget. So alongside your deep breaths, there's something called an auditory swish. It's an activity that you can do to begin to replace some negative thoughts. And it works like this. And this is legit therapy that I'm giving you for free because I love y'all, because y'all are my sisters, because I want to see about you, and because I want you to do well. I want you to excel. I want you to get rid of your negative thoughts. I want you to go from fear in it to faith in it. So here's what you can do. You're going to take 3 deep cleansing breaths. And then after that, and this takes imagination, so stay with me. So then after your 3 deep cleansing breaths, you are going to imagine that you can hear super duper loud whatever negative thought has been running through your mind. And so mine is, I'm not enough. I am not enough. That's the negative thought that runs through my mind as far as my ministry. I am not enough. And I know that's not true, but nevertheless, the thought still runs across my mind. And so I'll take my 3 deep cleansing breaths, and as loud as I can pretend to hear it in my mind, like loud, like somebody's blasting a radio, I will hear that phrase. And then I will imagine that I have the control of the volume to that radio. And I will turn it down. And the next time I hear that phrase, I am not enough, it'll be a little quieter and a little quieter and a little quieter every time. And I just turn it down until it becomes a whisper. And then it's like I hear ocean waves crashing. Imagine that you hear ocean waves crashing over that whisper and completely washing it away. And then after it washes it away, imagine that you can hear a whisper of a positive thought that would replace that one. And for me, I heard Stephen Furtick say something, it stuck with me, and so I kept it. Jesus is in me, so I am enough. Christ is in me, so I'm enough. So that's my positive thought. So I'll hear that as a whisper. And then just like I did before, but instead of turning it down, I'm going to turn it up and up and up and up. And when it gets to its loudest, I'm hearing it like a loud yell in my head. Christ is in me, so I am enough. And that's the last thing that I hear. And that's one way. And then we take 3 deep cleansing breaths to end it. And so you start with your cleansing breaths. You start with your negative phrase. You turn it down until it's a whisper. You have the ocean waves crash over it. And then you hear the whisper of the positive, and it gets louder and louder and louder and louder and louder until it's a crescendo. And that's what you're left with, that positive phrase. So that instead of that negativity, you're able to replace it with a thought that is more true, or that is true. Because generally those negative thoughts we have, they are lies. They are lies that the enemy tells us to neutralize us and to keep us trapped in fear. So remember, I hope you will try this auditory swoosh, because it will help you to remember that from purpose girl to you girl, you are free. Now stay free.